Hello there, happiness seekers. Gonna pretty much wrap up the whole sort of diet and superfoods thing with this. Is part three. Um, Stress. We're surrounded by it, and it's not just a question of do one thing and you're gonna end up being happy. I keep saying happiness is the default state, just like being healthy. When it's not there, you notice it. I'm unhappy. When it is there, you don't notice it. Same with health. When it's not there, you notice you're sick. When it is there, it's background. And then sometimes you feel super healthy. Sometimes you feel super happy. A lot of things contribute to unhappiness, and you can pretty much label them all under under the umbrella of stress. And we we're subject to stress from a lot of sources, but nowadays with our lives the way they are, we actually provide a lot of our sources of stress ourselves, and we can do something about them. And it behoves us to use that word. It is appropriate for us, and it's sensible for us to remove as much of the stress that we cause, so that our total stress load is lowered and we can better deal with and manage the stress sources that we cannot do much about. And what we eat and our food supplements are part of what we do have control over. So I'm not going to be preachy or anything about what is a good diet, what is a bad diet. There's a lot of information there, and it is your choice ultimately. But if you are causing yourself stress, you need to actually acknowledge that fact, and acknowledge the fact that there is something you could do about this, but you willingly go to that area and create problems for yourself. Now, what I'm not saying is that, and I'm obviously talking about eating junk food. If you have this whole all work and no play scenario, so junk food has its place in life. Whether for junk food for you may be ice cream, it may be some sort of chocolate indulgence, burgers, whatever. Yeah, a lot of people feel they cannot live without these things, and there are people who eat them every day. That is their choice, but there will be consequences. So you have to acknowledge that. It's no use saying, oh, I've got this, I've got that, I've got the other. If you are the person who is taking that food and eating it every day or on a regular basis as an occasional treat, nobody's going to argue with that. We all have causes for celebration, and there are celebration foods, not all of which are good. The areas to watch out for obviously are sugar, and more sugar. Sugar is terribly bad for you, and certain fats are not good for you. But the thing to really, really, really look out for are things that will lead to diabetes and high blood pressure, and things that will cause the LDL, which is the low density cholesterol in your body. These things are all intertwined. It's like they're playing a tag team to knock you out, and there are steps that you can take which will benefit you and lower your stress levels, because stress isn't only a mental thing. I mean, when people say I'm stressed, they usually mean I'm at the end of my tether, I'm about to explode. But stress is that is an end result of the biochemical reactions happening in your body as a result of mental pressures, as in emotional pressures from we'll just say work and or family and or situations that you've been in. You may have a high stress job, a high stress family. You may have just encountered a high stress situation, for perhaps, for example, you've witnessed an accident of some description, you're facing examinations. These all lead to stress, admittedly, and a lot of people then go and comfort eat. And here's one thing to be aware of, information being power, etc. When you comfort eat, what you are basically doing is so giving into a subconscious urge to return to a time when all your troubles were taken away from you as a baby. Because the first thing, when you started crying as a baby, usually in most scenarios, because this is obviously everything on my channel and every other channel everywhere is a generalization, doesn't apply to 100% of everybody, but usually the first thing that a parent does is check that you are hungry and they put something in your mouth. So you associate parental affection and taking away your problems and your sources of stress as a baby with having something in your mouth. And that is why some people smoke, some people eat candies and things, and other people start eating rather more copiously. It's a return to those days, so the hunger's taken away, and on a subconscious level, everything therefore must be solved, mustn't it? Because that's what happened when you were a baby. Parental figure, protector, came in and made all the bad stuff go away. So with that in mind, there are other coping strategies to remove you from a stressful situation rather than just putting something in your mouth. I'm fairly certain a certain amount of alcohol consumption is done on that basis as well. Not just the fact that it makes you feel all woozy anyway, but the fact that you've got something in your mouth and you can feel something there. So it's a coping mechanism. So what am I saying with all this? It's not just a matter of eating the right foods. It's a matter of avoiding the wrong foods. If you eliminate a lot of your wrong food consumption, you'll be left by default with the right foods, and then you can sort out which right foods you like and eat more of those. So it's actually a very, very, very important part of dealing with stress. But as I alluded to at the beginning of this, it's not only what you eat, it's a lot of other things in your life as well. And we'll, going forward, start looking at some of those as well. Okay, and that's it. If you found this useful, like the video and let the algorithm know. Good night. See you tomorrow.